Sunday.
Right, what day is it? What day is it?
I'm about to say Friday.
Happy Sunday, fam.
I ain't even trying because I know my ass would have said the wrong day.
Ooh,
Good morning.
hey.
Good morning.
Facts though.
Good morning. We're gonna wait for some folks to come into
Come on
the
in.
space.
Come on in. Come on in. Take a seat. Come on in.
That's my delirious.
Yeah. What's that going?
Listen, one day I'm gonna show y'all how I get up and throw a dress on and throw a wig on and earrings on in like 2 minutes.
Behind
And be fabulous as fuck.
Behind the safety boob.
Yes.
Because the way I raced to get dressed for this daggum show.
Same. Because I'm gonna tell y'all why I got so excited, and I was like, I have 15 minutes to shower and put makeup on and get dressed.
Okay.
Y'all can see these pajama pants I'm wearing right now.
I was about to say I got these comfy ass shorts on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Comfy and cuddly.
Honey, comfy.
But we still clean though, unlike some people. We still get ready and we still get clean before shows though, unlike,
Child. So
some of these
because she said that and I need to take a sip, what y'all sipping on? That was a perfect segue, sis.
Mercy Jesus.
I'm sipping on my coffee. My cold brew, brewed hot with some vanilla soy creamer. What y'all got?
I have me. Listen, the best thing that I could have ever discovered in life is that Cafe Bustelo had K-cups for Keurig. Sis, I have an oat milk Cafe Bustelo with some raw sugar in it. I'm living my coffee life right now. Thank you very
Cafe
much.
Bustelo. That's what's up.
It puts hair on your chest, honey.
Yes. That's that real, you know. I have some ginger peach sparkling water.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
H2O. It's
H2O. I mean, we can't drink today, you know.
Yeah, nah.
It's
11 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I mean,
and we got stuff.
Would I dare? I don't know. If I was on vacation or something, yeah, y'all would see me twisted probably.
I'd be lit.
Right.
It was Friday night. I might be
lit. Right.
We'll be back.
The way this hustle is set up.
God, I know.
Soon come. Yes.
What y'all sipping on? Come into the space, people. I see somebody just joined us live. Come on. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning to y'all.
We know this is not our usual time and day, but y'all have been rocking with us hard. I feel like I have to say this every single week. Y'all have been rocking with us, and we so appreciate it. And I know that we are going to be back on a more consistent Friday schedule coming up. But we doing things, y'all, and it's doing things. 2021. And all the craziness with this pandemic, the fact that y'all do it every week is a blessing, okay?
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be doing things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To be doing things. Exactly.
That's a good problem to have. Amen.
100%. Yes. What y'all sipping on, no sippers? Drop it in the chat.
You know
what I'm saying? And just before we get started, if you do not follow us on our social media, if you are not a patron, support us financially. Are we out here making big moves and things? I think, you should invest. You should invest in this today. You feel me? Right. So I'm going to drop these links in the chat, y'all. No, we thank you so much for showing up every week, and we do appreciate any additional support that you can give us. And it can be as simple as hitting that follow button on Instagram. You did.
Right.
So
right. But you could also support Black. You got a few dollars. You got $5. You bought them shoes last week, sis. You got $5. I'm just saying. No.
Or 10.
Let them know.
Or 10. Or
25.
Or 25. Thank you.
Y'all really don't want to miss these Zooms that we do.
Yeah, we
got our top tier folks.
We got some really dope stuff coming up.
And yes, we do have some dope stuff coming up that we cannot wait to announce. Really, really soon, y'all. Things are happening.
Hercules.
And we're just
girls, we winning out here.
We really are. Okay. So let's get into the show. We have a special guest today that we are super excited to have on the show. And we're going to open up like we always do with our Sister in Power for the week. Who you got today, Raj?
Wait, do you want me to do mine or you want to do yours first?
You know what? I can go first today. So I have two Sisters in Power. My first Sister in Power is none other, and we've had her as a guest on the show before, violinist, composer extraordinaire, Miss Juliet Jones. If you don't know her, please check her out. I just would like everybody in the interwebs to know that if you plan on purchasing the new iPhone Pro 13, my sis is the one who composed the music. For all the advertisements for the new 13. And she did it with a partner, Mr. Mark Hadley, who is also an amazing composer. But Black women are out here winning, okay? They are out here winning. And when I saw that, I screamed because we're all just trying to have a piece of the pie, God dang it. And for her to be on that level in her career and to be able to have such a broad range of composition styles and all these things, and for everybody in the world to hear her phenomenal compositions and her phenomenal violin playing is just everything. So, girl, yes. Shout out to Juliet Jones for that.
Yo, Juliet.
Yes. We love you, sis.
Yes,
big love, sis.
And we are forever cheering for you.
Hell yeah.
And my second little sib, I'm still screaming, is my baby, Miss Lila Rose Brooks Roberts. So we just found out this morning that her commercial that she filmed in May, it's out.
Hey.
Y'all like right away, like, look. And so for you guys who don't know, and our new listeners and new followers, I have a 9-year-old daughter. Her name is Lila, and she is a budding actress and has been really doing some amazing things and booking like major national commercials. She's booked 3 in the last 3 months. And so we are super proud of her. And so we're going to show y'all about to get a sneak preview.
Yeah.
World premiere.
Okay. So Carrie is going to share her screen.
So excited for the Booski. My God.
Oh, I'm going to share it.
There it is. No, you good. I was making sure. I was like, it's in there.
It was like, hold up, wait a minute now.
And we'll let y'all watch it for, a few seconds.
Here we go.
Flu viruses are out there, but you can help protect your child with the only needle-free nasal spray flu vaccine that helps protect against influenza in people ages 2 to 49. FluMist Quadrivalent. FluMist starts working where flu typically enters the body, the nose. It may not protect everyone.
That look, though.
FluMist is an option recommended by the CDC. FluMist is proven effective in clinical studies. FluMist Quadrivalent should not be given to patients who are severely allergic to any vaccine component or eggs, or who have had a severe reaction to the previous dose of any flu vaccine.
Yeah.
The rest don't matter.
Right. But
nah, you sneezed once and now you're about to sneeze again.
She's like, bless you.
Look for me, sis.
Oh, but it's so crazy to see her like on the big screen like this, y'all. Like it's just so crazy. And of course she was like, it was so much fun. And we just want her to have fun with it, but just really pushing her. Like yesterday we were on a Zoom call for 3 hours for an acting workshop. And as a parent, it's very much like our career as well. It's like we have to be there with her every step of the way so that we can learn how to help her navigate and support her in her new career and her new ventures. So I'm just so proud of her. I'm just like smiling. All the BANS in the world right now because I'm just so happy. But yes, so those are my tips for the week.
Yes.
Well, that is awesome.
Juliet, we love you. Lila, y'all are so cool. I'm so proud of y'all.
Oh, thank you, sis.
That's phenomenal. And I'm sorry, but to know the baby as a little baby and then to see her starring, and I don't care who anybody else was, but see her starring in a commercial just does the heart good. I'm so proud. I cannot wait to see her on somebody's TV show, on somebody's TV stage very soon. We already know it's going to happen.
Yes.
But okay, I'll list my sips for the week. And I just want to shout out these female athletes, Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, and Ali Raisman. They are all accomplished USA Olympic gymnasts who testified before the Senate this week about being sexually molested by the now imprisoned Dr. Larry Nassar. For 18 years, this man was the team doctor of the U.S. women's national gymnastic team, and it has been reported that he sexually abused and raped hundreds of women during his career, hundreds of young girls, mind you. Now, he's since been arrested and charged, but Simone, Michaela, and Ali were at the Senate this week to testify about the FBI turning a blind eye to their allegations, which were first reported in 2015. Now, even though this man's crimes go back to the 1990s, it wasn't until 2015 that women started coming forward. But FBI Special Agent Michael Langman, the person who was in charge of pursuing the allegations, chose to ignore these women and even lied in some reports saying that they spoke positively about Nassar, which they didn't. And he was ultimately fired from the FBI for mishandling the case. For me, what is so striking about this is, one, not only did these ladies suffer harm and trauma for their initial assaults and still chose to speak up. Two, they weren't believed, they were lied on, and big organizations like USA Gymnastics and the Olympic Committee flat out did not support them and suppress their stories for years. But three, here's the gag for me. I can't help but to point out the irony of the Senate holding this hearing. So y'all can understand and hold a major hearing on these women, but you also supported, aided, and abetted, and refused to impeach former President Donald Trump, even after at least 18 women have come forward and accused him of sexual misconduct. This is the bullshit that is America. This is like the disharmony where the same governing body can have a hearing to highlight the sexual abuse of one group while at the same time completely ignoring their own complicity in the sexual abuse of another group. Make it make sense. I feel like America does this a lot. It's like on the one hand, you want to highlight the injustices of one particular group, but you don't support really the injustices for all and fighting the injustices for all. If one person is harassed, we all are harassed. And I just feel like the Senate loves to do a blind eye and turn a blind eye to certain things that they are also complicit in. So shout out to these athletes for speaking out, but also Senate, you trash. You've been trash and you always gonna be trash. And I'm done.
And she said it, ladies and gentlemen.
Like drop. Okay.
Mic drop. And you're absolutely right. And it's a shame. I find this happens with a lot of things. It's like people who claim to be DE&I, but then like have racist policies, but now all of a sudden you're like, why y'all care about diversity? But over here, it's just like terrible across the board. But
because you're doing it for money. You're not doing
exactly.
it
That's it.
Clout.
As soon as they realize they might be losing money or losing, like their influence or whatever, they're like, oh, now we have to make these changes. Like, just do the right thing.
Just do the right thing.
Exactly.
Shout out to them for speaking up. I remember when that first came out, he was disgusting.
He really is.
Did he get 20 years or something?
He got 20 years. And what was so disgusting about it is that he would do it while the parents were in the room. He would literally like turn these girls so that the parents couldn't see, do all this stuff while their parents are still in the room. If you listen to the statements, the victim statements that these women made in court, it's just unreal to me. But I also say President Trump was also sexually assaulting women.
Absolutely.
What you got to say about that? Where's the hearing for that? Where's the Senate hearing for that? Where's the impeachment? I mean, whatever. Don't even get me started.
Well, thank you for highlighting that. And if you guys are listening and watching and you want to learn more about that, please check it out.
Yeah.
Who you got, Carrie?
I don't have any sips this week, but I do have a BAN. So
okay, which we can just move right on to the BAN. Who you got?
Okay. So my BAN this week is these expensive ass hotels that be charging you like $300-400 a night for a trash stay. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like my hard-earned money is going into making sure that I can go somewhere and feel comfortable and feel safe, you know what I'm saying? And get some rest while I'm out here in these streets. And it's a lot of money to be asking for, or when you give me a bed that I could literally feel the springs in.
Oh no.
When I'm sleeping, you know what I'm saying? Like when every time I call and I ask for something, no one is available. You know what I mean?
For
like
the night, sis?
For $300 I'm trying to tell you right now. And here's the thing that really, so I stayed at the Freehand Chicago last weekend when I was out
Call
there
them
for a
out,
wedding.
Carrie.
Call them out.
These motherfuckers owe me money, all right? And I'm in the process of trying to get that shit back. So,
hey.
but I'm just saying, like, quite literally, it was like, it's known for being like cute and eclectic and whatever, and it has like all this like cute little furniture and shit, but like it's uncomfortable as hell. You know what I'm saying? And so when I went down there to ask about, you know, trying to get some better amenities, you know, maybe getting moved into a better room, and then we were able to take a look at some of the other rooms, but the other rooms had it was the same situation, and I was just like, and I was told that it was non-refundable. So I was just like, well, I'm gonna need you to figure it the fuck out, because this money that I paid, I'm putting into your pocket. You feel me? And what's crazy is that the people that were there, like the staff, they were actually really great when they were available, right? They were actually really nice and really, like, you know, they tried to be as accommodating as possible, but the issue lies with the company itself, because what they were able to do was just not enough. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my issue. I was just like, there is no acceptable reason why we should ever be charging people hundreds and hundreds of dollars a night for the bullshit. So I just wanted to call out Freehand Chicago for being trash, and y'all owe me money, and I'm gonna get it back. You know what I'm saying? So that's my BA in this week. These companies
do a Twitter post, do a Twitter post and an IG video, and tag them, and a Google review, and make them, you know, they're gonna have to honor that. And I bet you other people are gonna be like, yeah, I stayed in that hotel.
100%. They're telling reviews where they were like, this beds are trash, and I was like, wow, how did I miss this?
And I'm sorry, the bed thing is, for me, is like non-negotiable. Like, if the bed is trash, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Girl, that's like, terrible.
How am I
for
supposed to
$400 a night, I need turn up service, turn down service.
Right.
I need you to be on speed dial.
On speed dial.
Like,
especially per night. Come on now.
I need that little chocolate mint on my pillow before I go to bed.
Every night.
High-end soaps and mouthwashes. Like, what are you doing? Dang, girl, I'm so sorry. Please report back when you get your money back.
I shall.
Right.
No. Let me get my money back, damn it.
That's it.
Listen, they got to do better, man. For especially because we're going to be traveling more, and we need good hotels. Like I just cannot. I'll do my BAN real quick.
Yes.
I have a problem with grown ass men fighting in public about shit that does not matter. Let me just start there. So P. Diddy, Jermaine Dupri fighting about whether or not to do a versus. First of all, let's acknowledge that there are more important things going on in the world. Initially, wasn't versus created to give us all a positive relief from being quarantined, right? When did it turn into this competitive moment between musicians in which some questionable antics, don't even get me started on Fat Joe calling women dirty bitches and spewing all of his misogynistic bullshit since the last one. Now we have P. Diddy, and I refuse to call his ass love. I refuse. And Jermaine Dupri having full-on screaming matches at each other live on whether they'll even do a versus together. And the event hasn't even been booked yet. I feel like now is the time when you're seeing the best and worst of artists. Money can't buy you class. Diddy obviously showed that with his rant. But he also forgets that many of us know his ass ain't really a musician. He's more of like a staffing coordinator. He hires musicians and producers to create tracks, then takes credits for the tracks, and then doesn't pay the artists. In an interview with Oprah, he literally said, I don't play an instrument and I never went to school for music production, but I know exactly how a song should sound and how to give an artist direction. Whereas Jermaine Dupri plays keys, uses the drum machine, has been a producer, all of that for years. In all actuality, I really feel like Jermaine Dupri should have wanted to battle someone else entirely and left Diddy to his basic ass circle jerk antics. I'm sick of all of it. The problem that I have is, why are we even having this conversation? If both of you guys, you would not see Babyface, Jimmy Jam, even though Terry, who was the one that's questionable? Was it Terry Lewis, Nick?
Terry Lewis, I think.
Yeah. But you would never see them being on live acting this way. And the problem that I have with it is you guys are at a certain level in your careers for the culture. You can make a choice in how you show up to a situation. Aretha Franklin never had to battle anybody or say anything about the quality of her voice. It was a non-negotiable discussion. There was no, you know what I mean? So she never had to prove anything. If Beyonce ever came for her, if Shaka Khan ever came for her, Miss Thing just would not respond. Patti LaBelle the same. You don't have to respond. I don't have to explain to you the quality of the kind of performer I am. But here you have these men acting like babies on a live, hollering and screaming at each other. I just think it's such a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, and it debases the quality of the R&B culture. It really does. And I'm ashamed for both of them. I'm embarrassed for both of them. And honestly, I wouldn't even watch your verses at this point because y'all can't even act right before the show's even booked. That's all I got to say.
Girl, say that. Say that. Say that. And you want me to call you Love Negro?
Girl, that part.
And you can't even be about it?
That part.
Girl.
The quality of your work should speak for itself, period. If someone invites you on to do something, you show up, you bring your best self. It is what it is. The world can decide. But what I'm not about to do is be like, well, I had this single and you did. Why? What was the point of the verses? I thought the point of the verses was to bring us joy during the pandemic, not to sit here and have this stupid competitiveness between artists that really don't even have to compete.
Don't have to compete.
Right.
Your money shows it. Your record sales show it. You ain't got to say nothing to nobody.
Yeah, just play the songs. You know what I'm saying? Just play the damn songs. And exactly. You know what I'm saying? Let people, like bask in the nostalgia and like, all of that. But like what?
Right.
I gotta watch this video. I'm just very curious. I feel like I just need to see, because Lord have mercy.
Child.
They're both like literally screaming at each other like children.
It was horrible.
Diddy more than JD actually.
Because he's the main BAN, sis.
Girl of all.
Diddy is a BAN.
Diddy is a BAN. He is
a BAN.
He really is.
Crying over your.
He always has been. He always
crying over your ex after she passed, sir.
And you treated her like trash. Miss me.
Jesus, fix it.
Raj likes me to do it. Miss me. Yes, I was waiting for it. I'm over it.
It's a shame.
It is a damn shame.
Just do better. Art, like at some point, and this is why it's really hard for me to look at the music industry right now. And I'm sorry, y'all, because we really need to move on. But this is why it's hard for me to look at the music industry right now. Once you get to a certain part in your career, why would you ever have to have these kinds of conversations? And because of the fact that you do, it shows your insecurity as a man. It shows the lack of class, the lack of superiority. Like Babyface to this day, Brian McKnight to this day, they don't got to battle nobody. They literally show up, do their stuff with grace. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the word is for men, but it's just like, show up like a real man, like show up looking like you know who you are, like you have a sense of self-worth. But instead you're teaching other young producers to act this way when you really don't have to.
This was such a opportunity for y'all to like lead by example. And like your career has been like this whole expansive thing, whether I like it or not, but you've had a lot of reach in the music industry. And you've got these young cats looking up to you, and this is how you act? Child, I'm unable. Let it be some women, and it's extra credit.
So emotional.
They emotional. Exactly. And y'all acting like this?
Exactly.
And I'm going to be really brief with mine, but it has to be said. Okay? 3, 2, 1, let's go. The VMAs was this past week. Okay? I've had the pleasure of playing for the VMAs. The VMAs is a real cool award show MTV does. They honor videos. Video Music Awards. There are some really amazing women performers out right now. Let me tell you about that little Chloe Bailey from Chloe and Halle. Chloe is going to be the new Beyonce, okay? Yes. Sis is out here dancing and singing and doing all of the things. She performed on the VMAs. Doja Cat performed, and Normani, which Normani is bomb, okay? That little song she's got, what's it called? Working It or something? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the Aaliyah 1 in a Million beat in the back. So it's very nostalgic. So Normani gets on stage. At the end, Tiana Taylor comes on stage. They have a little moment, honey. People were trying to clown Normani and Doja Cat and Chloe. Like, this is too much sex. Once again, guys, this is the last time I'm going to say this. Well, it's probably not, but I'm going to be brief. Stop telling women how to be. Period. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Stop telling us how to be. Stop it. And I'm so sick and tired of people saying, what about the kids? If you're a mom and you're a dad and you're letting your 10-year-old daughter watch the VMAs, that's your problem. There is content that is kid-friendly and content that is for adults. Pick the box and do the right thing. My daughter is 9. She ain't watching the VMAs right now. But even if she did, she would be able to see that these girls can do what they want to do. And then in turn, Lila can do what she wants to do. Stop policing women's bodies. Stop telling us how to be on stage. Don't nobody tell y'all little raggedy, funky Negroes that be on stage looking a mess, talking terrible about women, and nobody says a thing. A woman gets on there and shakes her booty and sings, killing it, and y'all suddenly have a problem. Please stop. If it's not for you, don't watch it, don't buy it, don't support it, but let these women be who they are. And maybe you're just mad and you're just projecting that you ain't got a booty like Chloe and that you ain't got abs like Normani and that you can't hang from the rafters and sing like Doja Cat. Okay? I am done. I am done. I am sick of it. I am tired of y'all prudes, whatever it is. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. Most of y'all talking about this was trying to get to Freaknik in 1998 down in Atlanta. And all y'all was trying to figure out how y'all was going to get to Howard Homecoming and Tennessee State's Homecoming so y'all could drop it like it's hot to one of the Lil Jon and the East Side Boys songs. So y'all can miss me because, sis, if cell phones existed, and cell phone cameras in 4K existed back in 98, we would see you in the club dropping it like it's hot.
Girl, you better say that.
Let me tell you, I was up in the club dropping it like it's hot. And if somebody had some stuff, they could show enough be like, Monique was doing this. And
show enough I was.
Check me.
Who gonna check me?
And like I told Raj and Carrie, which shout out to our group chat this week, which was absolutely freaking lit.
It was. Oh my God.
I'm turning 40 next year. We renting a yacht in Miami, and I'm gonna be on a boat, dropping it like it's hot. And how about I'm gonna be posting it to Instagram so y'all can see.
Who gonna check me, boo?
And who gonna check me, boo? I'm sick of y'all. Stop hating and celebrate these women who are out here killing the game. They are the next generation of singers and performers. And if it ain't for you, it ain't for you.
Right.
And I'm done.
Okay. First of all, Tiana Taylor could get it. That's off top. Second of all,
love her.
I'm so glad that the internet wasn't really popping when I was out there because as I said in the chat, I was risking it all. I'm sure there's some pictures out there of me doing the absolute most at the club or at a party on occasion.
Stop. Doing the absolute most.
Right. And third, can we please stop with the respectability politics? Absolutely stop. If you want to support cultural events like jazz and classical music and all that, put your money there, go to those concerts. If you want to support the 2 Live crew, and Normani and, Chloe and them doing that, go to those concerts. If you want to go to Freaknik, if you want to go the hedonism, whatever, do what you got to do. Let there be space for all of it, period.
All of it.
But can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead, girl.
Well, excuse me. What if this bubble is working, apparently? Okay. What if I was like at a jazz concert and somebody wanted to shake their booty? Yeah.
Listen, I don't know how people sit down at jazz concerts. I've said this for many years. I love to dance. Like I'm at a club at a jazz concert. If you want to twerk this, do your business.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm like, it's my body though.
It's your body.
It's mine. Period. Like I could do with it as I fucking please.
Period.
Yes.
You know, and like I said in the group chat, you know, just because I'm in my zone, baby, and I'm having a good time, don't mean that you need to be all up in my zone policing what it is that I do. Get out my face. If you don't like it, turn the channel. Change the goddamn channel.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, they like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it.
That part.
That's
It's too much.
Sitting at home all judgy, but
They be all right, all hot and bothered, like, you know.
How they like it. Y'all are just mad because y'all like Normandy dancing on Tiana. That's just say what it is.
Me too, baby. Me too. Wow.
I was like, wait, let me run that back real quick. Let me
one more again.
Listen, Linda.
Wait, hi, Charlie. Charlie said the footage from the past would have had the party with Charlie shut down. Listen, sis.
I love Charlie.
We are so grateful, honey, that we was getting it back before the internet was really, really popping. Because Lord knows, I'm sure there's some footage somewhere of me doing some questionable things.
That part.
All of that.
Who's gonna check me?
But anyway, as we come back to our Grace in Class and Coos, right? For like the next 20
minutes. Because we can be all of them, right? We can do all of them.
We can do both. All of that said, I have to highlight our sister in power for this week. And I want to read her bio and I want to talk to her. Ever since I met this woman and started working with her back in 2019 before the pandemic, I've wanted to have a conversation with her because she has a fascinating life, a fascinating story. And the things that she's doing now are really dope and incredible. So without further ado, Erica Brown is a singer, songwriter, recording artist, actress, and published author based in Denver, Colorado. Originally from Sikeston, Missouri, Erica has long been a mainstay on Colorado's music scene. From winning awards with her original Erica Brown Band, to being dubbed Denver's Queen of the Blues by the Altitude Network, to leading the all-female blues band Cast Iron Queens, Erica has always been a trailblazer. Her voice has been featured in films, including the Sony Pictures film The Fan with Wesley Snipes and Robert De Niro. She's performed at the Colorado Symphony with Grammy-nominated bluesman Carl Gustafson on Rush Through History, which was an epic music novel about bluesman Bobby Rush. That novel also included the incredible Miss Tata Vega, the voice of Shug Avery from The Color Purple. She was featured in the Women in Blues Showcase Photography series for the Smithsonian Magazine, which became a companion issue for the opening of the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. She's been awarded the Colorado Blues Society's Lifetime Achievement Award for her significant contributions and dedication to the blues. And as an actress, she was in the play Honorable Disorder, which was nominated for a Henry Award. Now, Erica and I actually met while acting in 2019 in a play called My Country, My Country, which was put on by DCPA fellow Brenton Weyi about the true story of Patrice Lumumba, Prime Minister of the Republic of Congo, and the revolution that helped steer the country out of Belgian rule in the 1950s. This year, Erica became a published author in the 2021 Chicken Soup for the Soul series entitled I'm Speaking Now, Black Women Share Their Truth in 101 Stories of Love, Courage, and Hope. Erica's story, A Servant's Heart, was a tribute to her mother and how she modeled and encouraged all her children to work toward the greater good of their community, nation, and world. That book was edited by Oprah's Book Club pick, and these stories spoke eloquently of Black female life in the world today and served as a beacon of love and hope in these trying times. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please let me welcome Miss Erica Brown to the SIP.
Hey, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow.
Morning.
Boy, it's wild to hear all that actually read at one time. It's like,
Oh my, and I didn't even get a chance to include all of the incredible awards and nominations and features that you have had. It is wonderful to have you here. How are you doing this morning?
I am so excited to be here, you guys. I have been like, ghost following the SIP when I'm home. And I am just really feeling what y'all are doing. I'm really, really feeling it.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, you already have somebody from Missouri in our chat. This woman said, "Wait a minute, Sikeston. My family's from New Madrid, Missouri."
Oh,
Charlie.
yeah. New Madrid. Hey,
I love
New
it.
Madrid, because Old Madrid, there are two earthquake faults in the world that are primo. The first one is the San Andreas fault. The second one is what's called the New Madrid fault, because when it happened in the 1800s, it literally sunk the town under the river, and they had to build a new town. There was an old Madrid and a new Madrid, and I'm sure she knows it. And
Charlie said, yep.
And woo!
Wow. Listen, we're gonna have to hear the story of how the Black folk in New Madrid survived that, or in Old Madrid survived that at some point.
I'm sure it's a fascinating story. Yes, indeed.
What you sipping on, lady? What you drinking today?
I'm combining happy hour and the South because I am having sweet tea in a wine glass.
There you go. It's a pretty glass.
A cute glass. Yes.
Because, you know, I'm kind of approaching a griot age. So I have to pick and choose my battles. And when I was y'all's age, my battle at 11 a.m. on a Saturday or Sunday morning would have been a really great Cabernet in this glass.
Yes.
However, as my life and my career has progressed, I have too much to do.
Right.
So there are times when I can't dull my edge. So there I am.
You were talking to us. All of us had gigs and events yesterday. So we're all, recovering from the madness that was gig life, which is what happens. But before I get into the interview, our lovely Carrie has a question of the day for you.
Okay.
So take it away, sis.
Let's do it. Okay, this one's gonna be fun. So if you could have a button that you could push that would do anything that you would want it to do, but it has to do the same thing every time, right? What would it be? Roger's like, I know, I got this.
It's a big one though. It would clean my house from top to bottom.
Clean the house. I hear that.
That's a great one.
Okay.
Because that's one thing you need all the time, right?
Absolutely.
And if you find somebody, please let me know.
Right. We're gonna take this button, right?
Because Holy Mother of God, there are literally 4 piles of laundry in my living room floor.
Girl.
That are staring accusingly at me.
Accusingly.
Yeah, okay. Like, we over here, right?
Right.
It's okay, we'll wait.
Right.
If I could do that, but it would do the same thing every time. The first thing that popped into my head is that America of color would level up.
Ooh, come on and challenge the people.
Every time, and each successive level is higher than the one before.
Yes.
Till we get to the point where when we speak, I was listening to what you all were saying about, what's going on in the world today with musicians and all that sort of thing. When we speak, not only is it listened to, it is acted upon in a way that brings us to where, we're less than zero. Come on now, let's call it what it is. So if we can get to level, then when we continue to level up, when we speak, we done spoke. I done said it.
Girl, you done said it right then. Amen.
Mic drop.
I said what I said. So yeah.
Okay. I can write that part. Good job.
Okay. It's so true.
That's real.
That's kind of that's my T-shirt today too. I'm Blacknificent today.
Blacknificent. Yes. Dripping in black beauty. Come on.
Yes. Extravagantly bathed in melanin.
Amen.
I need that shirt.
Yes. My daughter turned me onto this shirt. But and shout out to my daughter, Marion Johnson, who is my co-vocalist in the Cast Iron Queens and in the Big Mama Thornton project. And we'll get into that at some point, I'm sure.
Yes, I got you.
Yes. Oh, and last shout out before we move on to my granddaughter, Mercedes, who is on Instagram, I believe, as Slay Cheese, just walked New York Fashion Week.
Come on.
Yes, Colin. Yes.
Thank you. I have seen some of the video and I'm just feeling a little verklempt. It's amazing because she was born for this. It's been what she's wanted to be since she was a little girl. And she has steadily worked towards that goal. She's working with an amazing Denver-based designer named Dwayne Topping, and he's the one who turned her onto that. Hey, Dwayne, even if you're not on, hey, bro. And she's just moving forward. She's also working now with Wilhelmina Denver.
Oh
yes, I've heard about that agency.
Yes, they are the only authorized Wilhelmina agency outside of Italy.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Well, she can be your sister in power for this week. That is beautiful. Congratulations to her. Slay Cheese on Instagram, y'all. If you get a chance to follow her.
Yes.
Nick and Carrie, what are you guys' answers for this question of the day?
Go ahead, Nick.
I feel like for me, if I could press a button every time I started feeling worried or anxious that I wasn't good enough, or this kind of space of like, what's it called? The syndrome where you feel like you're not good enough.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Every time I feel that, if I could press a button and the feeling would immediately go away, that might be. That's like the
and
first
a crown
thing
would
that
just
popped
come
in
on
my
your
head.
head.
Just a crown
like
would just
like a peace button. Like a peace button, like press it and instantly, like that's the first thing that popped in my head, and I didn't want to come up with anything else. I wanted to go with the first thing that came in my head. It's just like an instant peace button.
Ooh,
y'all so deep. Okay.
I feel bad. I just had a housekeeper.
This is what happens when you get. This is what happens when you get 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
Yes.
Man.
What
so
about
for
you,
me, it would be like to teleport anywhere. Like wherever I'm thinking in that moment, I press the button and it teleports me to whatever. If I'm in like, because sometimes I be out and like, I really just want to go home. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. Right. That just push a button and just disappear. Or if I want to go somewhere beautiful, I'm like, I really want to be in Ghana right now. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm there, right? That's what
That's a great one.
Can you do past, present, future?
Ooh, that would be even nice. Come on, Erica.
Let's get creative with it. Yes.
So, okay, this is a small plug for myself because it is not completely written yet, but quickie, I got so much going on behind me. If I could get out the way and y'all could see all that stuff, it would drive you nuts. So we are all familiar with the Harry Potter series.
Right.
Yay. And we all remember the Black character of Angelina. I am writing Angelina's story.
All right now. That's awesome.
It's a private project right now. But I have had some writers that I've sent my prologue to read it and came back and went, oh, holy mother of God.
That sounds dope.
Because that's talk about past, present, future. And it's a way that we are not represented on screen. We didn't start being represented that way on screen until Black Panther.
Right.
Not that way. And when you look at the large, there are amazing women like Octavia Butler and those kinds of women. But by and large, Black women are not represented in science fiction. We are not appropriately represented in fantasy. We are absolutely not appropriately represented in my mind. I could be wrong about this and correct me. In romantic fantasy.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree 100%.
But in the same way, we ain't writing about Black Camelot like they write about King Arthur.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
They ain't writing about Black witchcraft the way they write about Harry Potter. And there are legions of little Black girls out there looking at Angelina and going, well, what was she doing?
Do you, Erica, do you read Tanana Reed Do? Did you ever read I want her on the show. Everything that she's done from My Soul to Keep to all of the books that she's done, I think she would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just have to say, you, for me already, and we haven't even finished the interview, but you're the embodiment of dream big and make it happen. Like, absolutely. I just love the way that you visualize things, and even the conversation that we had, which we'll get into about the Big Mama Thornton project, like just the way that you take an idea and you execute it, I think is amazing to me. So let me ask you, who is Erica Brown?
Woo! One of the girls that Erica Brown is the one that lives by the mantra that her mother said. And her mother said, baby, all they can tell you is no.
Right.
And that's one more now closer to that yes that you need.
Come on.
My daddy said, baby, be who you are, because if you ain't, you're going to be found out anyhow.
Amen.
Come on.
Okay. I love that.
Honest to Pete, y'all, it's not complicated until we make it complicated. And we have managed to do that in a fashion that just blows my mind.
Yes, yes.
You
and
know?
Now we talked about you being from Sikeston, Missouri. How did a lady from Sikeston get to Denver, Colorado?
Well, I married young because it's Missouri. And that's what we have license to, what we had license to do back when I was growing up. But the interesting thing about that is the girl that you see sitting in front of you right now, and I see these sparkles and I got to figure out where they're coming from.
I love it. It's like glitter. It's like you got a little glitter.
The person that you see sitting in front of you right now is not a lot different than the person I was then. Long story. I don't even know. Sometimes there are times when I don't know how to talk about my story without it sounding, honest to God, without it sounding like bragging. I was a gifted child. And in the 3rd grade, my community realized, because this is what they used to do back then, y'all, in the late 50s, early 60s, when they realized there was something different about me, the elders cowboyed up, went to the white leaders and said, we need this child tested. Something is different here.
Wow.
And that's what happened. I remember it. And I remember, and this, when something either this important or traumatic happens in your life, here's how you remember. I was 2.5, y'all. I was 2.5. Hear me.
Wow, Erica.
Now, here's the other bomb I'm finna drop. I never learned to read.
Wow, you serious?
I've always known how.
Wow.
That was my gift.
Girl.
And I know how to read. I knew how to read with comprehension. That was the thing. I was the kid that would walk down the street with my mother in the Black neighborhood. Women would come out of their houses with books in their hands, hand them to me and go, read this.
Wow. Wow.
This is the life I started out in. So when they figured out they couldn't give me everything I needed, ultimately, they started busing me across town to the all-white school.
Yes. Wow. So wait a minute. Now I need to know how that experience was.
What I learned to do was live 2 lives, which sounds absolutely crazy because it wasn't split personality. I just understood. And my mother was my teacher. She was my griot. She was my everything. Yeah. Who made me aware, along with the other Black women in our neighborhood. Baby, here's what you do. When you are here, you are this. When you are there, you are that. Because please bear in mind, you are representing. Because you have a gift, you're representing even more. Don't embarrass us.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
Rose Kennedy said, and that's who I heard it was attributed to, but she once said, to those to whom much is given, much is expected.
Listen, this is why we have you on a Sunday, because you out here preaching on a Sunday. And I'm not even ready. Go ahead, Neek. Did you want to say something, sis?
I just said preach, organ, and B flat. That's it.
Now, let me ask you, Erica, what was your first memory of singing? Like, so obviously you were reading at a young age.
Yes.
So I imagine that you were also writing at a young age. But what is your first memory of singing? Like, when did you decide that was going to be part of your career? Was there like a defining moment or?
Yes, absolutely. Now, singing wise, I was the quintessential member of the Black youth choir in my Baptist church. And might want to say we was bad too. Yes, we were. But when I figured out that what I was doing was really what got me where I lived.
Right.
There used to be a club down in Larimer Square called Basins Up. I still have the button, and that was from the 80s when I started going there. They had live music come through. And those were the days when you went on the road with a band, you would go to a city and you would be in that city for 2 weeks. And you would play the club every night, except Mondays, because you got a day off for 2 weeks. So one night I went to, and I distinctly remember it. I went to Basins Up. I'm sitting in the front row because I heard the band was playing was bad. So I'm like, okay, impress me. Well, the lead vocalist turned out to be Coco Brown.
Come on, Coco. Yeah.
Coco.
I love Coco.
Listen, I shout Coco Brown out every time I get a chance because I'm here to tell you what, Coco changed my life.
Wait, okay, so we got, for those of you who are listening who do not know who Coco Brown is a sultry, honey, alto, beautiful singing woman here in Denver, Colorado. She has a fabulous voice. I've been blessed to sing with her. She's done backgrounds for Mary Louise Lee. She also does backgrounds for
Hazel Miller.
Thank you. Yes. But she is also a personality in her own right.
Yes, she is.
Shout out to Miss Coco Brown. Yes.
Absolutely. And I sat in the front row and I watched her. Her band's name was Split Decision.
Wow.
And the leader of the band was a saxophone player named Del Jones. And Del was a sax player with James Brown.
Wow. Okay? Yes.
So Del understood excellence and he expected excellence and he got it. The band he had was like 9 people strong. They had a rapper before rapping was even a thing.
Come on now. Come on.
Ooh, his name was have mercy, Jesus. When I think about those days, I just like,
Listen, that's legacy right there. That's legacy.
I would watch her and I watched everything about her, from the way she dressed to the way she moved on stage, to the way what the words that came out of her mouth, how she phrased, when she stopped, when she started, everything.
Yes.
Everything. And I was like, if I can learn to do that, I'd be happy for the rest of my life.
So how old were you when you had your first gig? And was it in Denver or was it still back in Missouri? Like, and I mean, aside from the church.
Oh, okay. First real gig.
Yeah.
Well, to say that, once again, I got a back of 5 and punt. I have, if you looked on my Facebook page thoroughly, I post videos every so often about my previous lives. Yes. I was in a country band for a while.
Yes.
And it was at one point, what I did was a commercial for 9 News for the Grizzly Rose that year.
Come on.
And that's a whole story in itself. But I was in a rock and roll band for a couple of years. We went on the road for a couple of years. And that's really where I figured out a bunch of stuff about how you do it, what you do and how you do it.
Right.
Gosh, I was in an electronica band for a while. And that's where the soundtrack on the movie The Fan, I was in that band at that time. The song was called Deliver Me.
Yeah.
And there's always stories behind all of this stuff that I'm saying.
Right.
But anyway, the blues was just sitting there going, go ahead.
Right.
When you get back. So, and that's what happened. So my first gig was not blues. It was out on the road with the rock and roll band.
Yeah.
We were doing White Snake. We were doing Bon Jovi. I was singing Welcome to the Jungle every night.
Girl.
It was great.
But we know Black folks started rock and roll. So let's just go ahead and get that out. But how old were you when you did that? Like,
I was in my early 20s.
Wow.
I was in my early 20s.
Awesome.
And my mother, once again, it all comes back around to her. She knew that each one of her daughters had a gift. And it just so happened when that started coming out of me that way, she got behind me in the most amazing way that a mother can get behind a child. She said, you need to go on the road.
Wow.
So I had a daughter, my daughter, Marion. She said, go, I will take care of MJ for you. So I went. Those were the days before the internet.
Yes,
Those were the days all you could do was long distance call home, and long distance calling home was expensive. It was lonesome out there. I mean, like I had my bandmates, but I was the only female in the group, and I'm the only Black in the group. I got a backup band full of white guys.
Girl,
were flipping amazing. Now, here's when I came into my own.
Yes.
One night, we're in the middle, I think, of Montana at a VFW. I always did all right singing because I always did all right, but I had paralyzing stage fright. I really did. It was bad. Wow. And the keyboard player whose band it was, Steve Wilson. Steve, I miss you. We had a gig. We went, we set up, we did the first set, and I did all right because I always do all right. We're standing in the hallway, and I'm not sure what turned over in Steve's head, but all of a sudden he looked at me and he said, listen, and I'm finna use a profanity here.
That's all
Can
right.
I do that?
Girl, if you listen to the sip,
Come on with it. Come on with it.
He said, Erica, would you do what the fuck I hired you to do, or go get on the bus and go home? I said, excuse me?
Okay.
Excuse me. Could you say that again? He said it again. I said, bruh. You damn Skippy, I'm getting on the bus and go home. I'm gonna finish this gig because we contracted to do this damn gig. But I'm out of here. I am out of here. And more so than that, you guys are gonna love this. I actually said to him, I'm gonna tell my mother what you said.
Okay.
Because before I got in the van with him to go away with him, my mother said, I need to talk to your band leader. And I don't know what conversation they had, but whatever it was, she came back and she was all right with him. So she said, go ahead and go. I did not know that man from Adam's House Cat when I got in that van to go with him.
Wow.
He turned out to be one of my best and closest friends, one of my most amazing supporters. But so we have this altercation. When we go back for the next set, I'm mad as hell. I'm mad. So I'm performing mad.
Yes.
We brought the house down that second set.
I bet
and
you
all
did.
of a sudden I realized, oh my. Oh my. My stage fright went away in that moment and it has never come back.
Can we just have a moment for, because I remember being 19 and going to Italy with people I didn't know on projects, but my mama supporting me and people supporting me. The feeling that the level of chutzpah that you have to have as a young Black girl in these white spaces to do what you love to do, but risk it all. Yeah. You're inspiring me right now. I can only imagine that feeling. And I love that you was like, oh, I'm going to show you, sir. I'm going to show you right here and right now.
I was MAD mad.
So then how did you transition to blues then? How did you get to Denver then and start your own Erica Brown band and start that whole journey?
That's a story too. So I was in another electronica band called Cherry Bomb Club. At some point we will have to, this story will have to intersect with the fact that I had vocal cord cancer.
What?
I had 2 surgeries. Shout out to Dr. Mona Abaza of the University of Colorado Otolaryngology Department, of which she's now, I think, the chair. That's a whole nother story.
Girl, wait a minute, because I would be, when I tell you, I would not be well. Wow.
It never even occurred to me that the surgery would not go well and I would not come back. That's a whole nother story. But getting back to the blues story, I was in this electronica band called Cherry Bomb Club. Well, I realized I was really loving the blues thing because I was following a band called JD and the Love Bandits. And I was a follow them around groupie. I wasn't giving nothing up, but I loved their music. So I was following them around. So the leader of the band, JD Kelly, decided to go play with Chris Daniels.
Okay.
Hi, Chris. So because they knew I had been following them around and had been sitting in on occasion, they were like, we got gigs booked. We can't stop doing this. So one of the guys said, well, why don't we call Erica and see if she can help us out till we figure it out? So they did. So we performed as the Love Bandits for a while. And then everybody was like, we can't keep doing this because this is JD's name. So we then had a powwow about what we were going to call the band. And ultimately, we decided to call the band the Erica Brown Band because I had the name recognition right then. Because right at that point, the whole movie soundtrack thing was, hot. Hey,
because you stepped on the scene and literally changed it. And of course, they had to change the name of the band because it was now your band.
Right.
Yes.
That's my bud. That's my bud. He's the oldest son of Muddy Waters.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yes. Mud Morganfield. That's my heart right there. Anyway, so we started doing that, and we were blues rock. We were not pure blues.
Yeah.
And now blues rock is an understood thing, but at that time, other than my girl in the Bell Rays, who does blues rock, I wasn't aware of anyone else who was doing what I was doing.
Right.
But we did it so well. The gentlemen in my band were also playing with Sammy Mayfield, who was the musical director for Solomon Burke. Hello.
Yes.
So they were the real deal.
Yes.
And so I get to step into this. And as far as, the whole blues genre, I understood what it was because hello, it's my culture.
Right.
But they brought me along in that band. And they kind of made a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Because I was stepping into something completely different for me.
Yes.
So
that ain't a black girl phrase, honey. Go ahead.
All love to those guys because once again, it changed me and in a good way.
Yeah.
So it's wow. It's been a crazy journey.
What has been your favorite musical memory?
Oh, yay. I had two. The first one, we were blessed to open for BB King.
Yes, I saw him at BB King's in New York a couple years before he passed. Girl, yes.
At the Pikes Peak Center in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
And after the show, before the show ended, BB was, sitting in the chair. He had just got through playing his last song, and he's sitting there and he says, thank you so much. You're so good to us. But this show would not have been nearly what it was if we had not had the opening act we had. Then he said the words that unless you, I've heard him say this and use Bonnie Raitt's name, but till you've heard this phrase out of his mouth, Erica Brown, where are you?
Child, I know I would have
out on stage, and he reintroduces me to the crowd, and the place goes nuts.
Wow.
However, that's not the memory. The memory is when the show was over, his manager came to me and said, Erica, don't go home. Don't leave yet. BB want to see you. I was like, yes. So I grabbed my daughter because that was first person like MJ, come on, here we go. So, and matter of fact, on my website somewhere, there's a picture of me, her, and him, and I'm leaning over on his shoulder. And he's just cheesing. Anyway, because it's like old home week. So they take us on the bus. We walk down, because on the tour bus, we walk down the little aisle. We come out to the big back room. He's sitting on a bench thing with a table in front of him. He looks up and he goes, oh, there's the pretty ladies. Because, he loved the ladies.
Yes, he did.
He looks at the guy next to him and he goes, scooch over.
I know that's right, honey. Get out the way.
With me. I'm like, okay. So I go, MJ sits next to me. I'm sitting next to BB. So there are like 10 people in this area. Mm-hmm. And we're all just yak, talking about all kinds of stuff. And this gentleman says, BB, you are so amazing. You are so great. He stops. He says, I am not great. He looks at me and MJ and he says, these two women are great. And do you know why? And everybody's like, they're waiting for what's going to come out of his mouth. Here's what he said. These women are great because they can bear children.
Come on. Where's the organ in B flat, Nick? Where is the organ, sis?
Woo! Mercy Jesus. I'm like, this is so not what I'm expecting to come out of his mouth.
Yes, wow.
Exactly. And everybody was they were dumbstruck, just like y'all were. It was amazing. So then, the last of this piece of the story, he says, I will sign anything you have, memorabilia-wise, but please limit it to one item. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then he looks at me and he smiles real big and he goes, but you get two.
Oh, yes, honey, yes. Okay. Those kind of memories.
He looks at my daughter and he goes, you want one too? And she's like, yeah.
Go ahead, Neek. Oh, I love that. What an incredible memory, sis.
Oh my gosh.
That is amazing. So can I just tell you, you are like a warm hug, some warm peach cobbler, some warm apple pie with some vanilla ice cream. Like just everything about your energy and your confidence is what is so striking to me. So yes. I want to dig a little deep around confidence. Like we're all artists on here. And I just feel like you were poured into as a child by like your mama who can she adopt me, by the way? Like, can she adopt me? Because your mama sounds incredible. So with this level of confidence that you have and you just know all things are going to work out, how do you deal with like insecurity? Do you have insecurity? Like because I'm looking at you and I'm like, this woman doesn't get insecure. But I know we all suffer from things like that. So I really want to know, like, how you deal with self-doubt. Being a Black woman back in the day, you're performing with all these white people as like as a lead singer. You're the only Black face. You're the only woman. How was that, and how did you deal with that? And also, how do you just deal with your like self-doubt in general?
I can literally boil it all down to one word: preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared.
Yes.
So when you walk in, you realize what it is that you are doing, and you realize who it is you are and why you are there.
Yes.
Then give it every damn thing you got when you do it. Give it everything you got, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, and that, you know, people see what we do as artists, and what they see is the tail end of the process. What they don't see is all the hours that you have sat on the edge of the bed with a lyric book and sat and struggled with, does this sound right? And sat and struggled with, how am I going to get what I'm feeling out of my head and onto a piece of paper? You know, all them times you stood in front of the mirror and went, does this look good? Does this look weird? Mm-hmm. You know, all of that stuff where the days you have to stop and raise your hands and say, Father God, help a sister out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. Mm-hmm. So I'm leaving it all here. That's all I can do. You know, whether you believe in a God or not. And I've talked about that a lot on my Facebook page, because part of who we are as African Americans has been shaped by the fact that we were brought here and given the Christian religion. Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. We can get to preaching.
Had that not happened, would I have had a God? Would I have had several gods? Would we have been like the Chinese, where we had household gods? I mean, like, would we have been like the East Indians who believe in reincarnation? What would we have been? That was taken from us when we were brought here and force-fed the Christian religion. I'm not knocking the Christian religion. I'm just saying what is.
And also, who could we have been had we had the freedom to be? I mean, my God, Erica, oh my God.
You know, it is what it is. And all of that has informed who I am. And I also realize I hear my mother's voice in my head. Don't embarrass me.
Right. But there's legacy, there's power in that, right? There's legacy in the past generation looking at you and saying, I see greatness in you. Don't waste it.
I was a maid, so you didn't have to be.
Yes.
You know,
let me ask you. So when you and I, because I met you doing My Country, which is such an interesting project to be on. And at the time, like literally towards the tail end of that, you started telling me about your tribute to Big Mama Thornton.
Yes.
And I got so excited about it, because I love to hear how we're celebrating some of our tried and true Black female pioneers of blues, rock, and soul music. Can you talk about that project, where it stands now, how you even got started with it? Okay. All of that. And then I want to ask you about Cast Iron Queens as well.
Okay. The Big Mama Thornton project got started, oddly enough, because I was doing something else. I had decided, when I came off the road with Big Head Todd and the Monsters in 2016, doing the Way Down Inside tour, which was the pictures you all were showing.
Yes.
I had decided, tribute-wise, if we're doing a tribute to Willie Dixon, well, why can't we do a tribute to like Coco Taylor? Hey, I'm down with that all day.
Right.
So I start trying to put it in motion. I bought her entire catalog. I started listening to the music, all that sort of thing, because I wanted to reimagine some of the songs, you know, and put my spin on them and tribute my way. But for whatever reason, I had talked to her daughter, Cookie. I mean, like, she was like, girl, go ahead. But for whatever reason, it would not come together to save my life. I couldn't make it do what I wanted it to do. Here is honest to God what happened, y'all. I went to bed one night. I'm snoozing. Hello. All of a sudden, I sit straight up in bed. There's a voice in my head, and the voice is saying to me, Erica, it ain't Coco Taylor. It's Big Mama Thornton. Now, where that came from, I have no flipping idea. Not an idea in the world. but I understood that was what I was supposed to be doing, and I did not gainsay it.
Maybe it came from Big Mama herself, honey.
Listen, wait. So I'm like, okay. So I contacted Cookie and I said, girl, the tribute to your mom I'm gonna have to shelve it for a little while. I will come back to it at some point, but the universe is pointing me in another direction. She said, girl, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
So I start on this thing. And as I start to delve into Big Mama's life, I bought her entire catalog. And I started seeing who she was. This woman was a gender transgressor.
Wasn't she though?
Come on now.
Wasn't she though?
Have mercy, Jesus. But her backup band was Buddy Guy.
Yeah.
Muddy Waters.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yes.
how badass do you have to be?
Yeah.
When them is your backup people.
Right.
So as I delve deeper into this, what triggers it is the realization she is buried in California.
Yeah.
In a common grave with 2 other people.
See.
When she died flat broke. They had to raise money to bury her. The great Johnny Otis spoke at her funeral. It's been documented. But so then I started digging into that. And I'm like, this cannot possibly be. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's true. So then I was like, oh yeah, this cannot stand the way it is. So I started launching into trying to figure out how it is we get her own resting place, not to disrespect the people that she's buried with, because at some point it's all going to weave together in honoring them as well as honoring her.
Right.
But I started off on this journey.
Yeah.
And I've talked to, there's a funeral home in she's from a town called Ayrton, Alabama. She still has remaining relatives down there. I called them out of the blue and said, y'all don't know me, but listen, I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I made a trip down there and I literally pitched my idea to them. And when I got there, they were like, oh yeah, hi, you know, that kind of guardedness because they don't know me.
Right.
But by the time I got done, they were like, listen, what do you need? We'll help you out. Her great nephew is a city councilman in Ayrton. He said, Erica, I can set you up to present in front of city council because now the mushrooming starts.
Yes.
Where if we can figure this out, we will do complete re-signage in the town of Ayrton. Welcome to Ayrton, Alabama, home of Big Mama Thornton.
Yes.
Then we do plaques in different places in town where she played, places where she hung out, you know, all that sort of thing. Her nephews and cousins' houses. Hello. I started working with a funeral home down there to say, if I can figure this out, can you help me? They were in 50,000%. They have told me that if I can figure the rest of this out and we can have her body, her remains, transported back to Ayrton for burial.
Yes.
They have a white hearse that they're going to drive from Ayrton to California to get her remains and drive them home.
Girl, I got chills when I tell you. Wow.
So I am in the process of, she had a half sister who was also, you know, the person that kind of held her together for a good long time. As I understand it, her half sister's children reside in the Los Angeles area. I'm in the process of trying to contact them too. So, because I need everybody on board.
Right, of course.
Because this is where it starts to get complicated, because what it all boils down to is who owns that grave? Who owns it? Does her family own it? Does the cemetery own it?
Right.
Do one of the family members of the other 2 people she's interred with own it?
Wow.
Records are extremely sketchy, and I'm working on that. It's completely complicated, y'all. But because I've been working on this since 2017.
Wow.
Then of course, when I'm ready to like COVID brings everything to a screeching halt.
Right.
So, but I realized, I'm gonna digress here for just a second. I realized I was supposed to be doing this when I realized Her legal name was Willie Mae Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
My legal name is Willie Mae Brown.
No, are you serious?
The CD is going to be called Willie Mae Sings Willie Mae.
Oh, oh my God. I have chills, y'all. I have real chills.
Yeah.
Wow. Can I just say, I mean, I have so many other questions for you, and I know we don't have a lot of time to do it, but I guess there is something so amazing about a Black woman singer recognizing an injustice that's been done on a Black woman vocalist and doing that work to bring honor back to her. Yes. And the idea that Black women's bodies in this industry were not respected enough for her to have her own separate grave. I just can't even imagine. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Who thought that was
first place?
Given who she was?
Given who she was.
She had a million selling with Hound Dog before Elvis Presley was done being wet behind the ears.
And how many people actually reference her as their inspiration? How many people have said that? Like, I just can't even imagine it. Wow.
She belongs in the canon with Sister Rosetta Tharpe and all those people. And on the one hand, she's kind of there. On the other hand, she's really not. And it's a dirty shame.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take a little bit of a left field here, but I want to ask you, aside from Willie Mae doing Willie Mae, who would be your biggest blues collaboration? Like anybody right now, or anybody that you could do a collaboration with? Who would be the one person that you would want to make some music with, aside from her? Because I imagine, that's a whole project in and of itself.
Is this a past, present, future question or a present question?
With you, sis, it's whoever you say it is. How about that?
Wow. That's hard.
And you can even do your top three, if because I know for me, it's hard for me to say one too. But
that's hard. Wow. Because of who she was and what she did, hard left turn, Marian Anderson.
Oh my God, yes.
I have a vision of her in my head when she stood on those steps and
yeah.
Woo! Most definitely Coco Taylor. Most definitely, because I met her in Denver and it was the last stop of her tour that go round. And she made time to talk to me.
I love it.
And I mean, she made time to talk to me. We sat and we talked for like an hour. And she, like just coming off a gig, y'all know, I'm tired.
Right.
She made time for me and it changed who I was. Wow. Because what I learned was make time for them people. Excuse me. If it weren't for them people out there, you wouldn't have
nothing. Wouldn't have nothing. Make
time for those people. Make time.
Yeah.
Make time.
Yeah. And I realized I misspoke earlier. I said Coco Brown. I did mean Coco Taylor, but yes, absolutely. And I love the juxtaposition in your mind of blues and Marian, because, from classical to wherever, Black women, someone put it in the chat. They said Black women can sing anything. It is so true.
It is so true.
So to hear the two of you do something together, that would be incredible as well.
Yep.
What if you could talk to your younger self, if you could turn back time and say something to your younger self, even though you had so much confidence as a child, what would you say? Or what would you say to younger children now, younger girls now who are coming up? Like what is something that you would say to a younger generation?
There is so much pressure on the younger generation of Black women right now. And we are rising to the challenge because rising is what we do. But if I could say one thing, I'm good with one word things. Breathe.
Oh, girl, yes.
Yes.
We catch ourselves holding our breath so tough for so long, so often.
Yes.
That when we finally let it go, it's explosive. And that is part of what happens and why when Black women reach that level of a Diane Reeves, and Diane Reeves would be my number 3. Hi, Diane, I love you to death. Small sidebar. On the 25th, she and Cleo Parker Robinson are doing an amazing collaboration.
They are. I got to see that. Yes, yes.
And her peach tree is amazing because the peaches that came off that tree were killer. Anyway.
Listen, Diane Reeves is the resident queen mother of the SIP as far as I'm concerned, darling. So I love that. Yes.
Oh my goodness. But here's the thing. And here's another thing me and my mother talked about. No one can live for you. No one can die for you. No one can go to heaven or hell for you if you believe in such a thing. Live your life to where when you leave it, when your name comes out of somebody's mouth, they go, wow, we miss her. Wow.
You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right there. I gotta thank you so much for being on the show, lady. It's just, and I don't know if you guys have any other questions. Feel free to
quick shout out to my cast iron queens too.
Yes, I would. Okay, so tell me about Cast Iron Queens, and then we'll call it a day because I do want to talk about this all-female band that you got going on.
It's the realization of a dream I've had a long time to have an all-female band. I had one before, and they were called the Frails. And as life comes and goes and comes and goes, things happen and then stop and happen and then stop. Right. And actually right now, the Cast Iron Queens is on a mild hiatus. Because there's stuff piling up behind me that I've got to get done, that I got to get done. But the Cast Iron, it's exactly that. I've always wanted an all-female band, and I want it to be absolutely outstanding women.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
Yeah.
And the concept of the Cast Iron Queens may wind up being a rotating concept.
Right.
When you see the Cast Iron Queens again, you may not see the same women.
Right.
But it will be women.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you're given that, I've given these girls the Cast Iron Queens. They will be a Cast Iron Queen for life. And I trademarked that name. Thank you very much. Because that's part of the thing you got to do in business.
Well, maybe the SIP could be some honorary Cast Iron Queens. Maybe we could come and vibe out with you a little bit one night. I'm just saying.
I'm in. Let's get it done.
Well, I love that. I think that is amazing. And how can we support you? So what is your next? What is the venture that you're most working on right now that you want people to to support you on?
I think it's going to be the Big Mama Thornton project.
Yeah.
Because this is something that cannot wait.
Yes.
It absolutely cannot wait. Anybody out there with, several mil, they want to throw behind a sister, feel free. Because it takes money to do this.
Right.
Even with all the support I have. Shout out to Dale Katekis from Oscar Blues.
Right.
Who, when he heard about my project, sent me a 5-figure check.
Right.
And said, Erica, do what you got to do. Just let me know how it works out.
Right.
That's the kind of support that I need to get this thing done because there's so much more to do.
Yes.
Because eventually it's going to be a documentary because it needs to be a documentary. This whole thing needs to be a documentary. Somebody said to me, you know what you need to do, Erica? You need to contact Henry Louis Gates of Finding Your Roots and see if he would be interested in helping you with this because he's got exactly what I need. I have to dig backwards into the histories of the people she's buried with too.
Yes. Oh my God.
And bring them forward.
So when you have whatever your GoFundMe is or whatever, please share that with us because we would be happy to do it. If you do an event that's raising funds for it, let us know. If we're able to be there, we would be happy to be there. We need to celebrate this woman and her accomplishments, Big Mama Thornton, and the contributions that she made to blues and soul music, but also anything that we can do to support you, sis. We would love to do it.
Thank you. This platform to talk about this is huge for me. Aside from getting a chance to talk to you guys, who I just love y'all. Y'all out there doing it every daggone day.
I listen, I love you too, sis. And I remember when I first met you and we were doing the show, I was like, who is this fabulous woman? Like your energy, everything, just every time we would meet for rehearsals and it was not the easiest show because we had deadlines and stuff like that. But your vibe was always incredible. And I was like, I must know more about who this woman is because I could tell your power even in this ensemble, you know what I mean? Just speaking with you. So I just thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. That play was absolutely, hey, Brenton.
Yes. Hey, yes.
Shout out to Brenton Wade. Amazing. Because talk about going back to your roots. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was sad. We were just about to do a whole nother run of that in March of 2020. Like they had already sent us dates. We were already talking about, okay, we're going to meet and we're going to do these rehearsals and da-da-da. Yep. And then of course, COVID hit and we don't know what's up with the project now, but I hope to God, Brenton, if you're listening, holla at us because it was such a beautiful show. Yes, and it's such a beautiful story that needs to be told about resilience and revolution. It was incredible. Yes, but indeed. I'm going to do a couple rapid fire questions for you and then we're going to let you go. But yes, and I see you, Adrian. So Debrina just said, Big Mama Thornton was an Alabama native. Holla at us in Alabama. So you already got some support from some of our listeners. This is so awesome. In 3 quick words, what describes Erica Brown? If you had 3 words to say who you are.
3 words to say who I am. My mother's daughter.
You know what? I need a whole nother episode on legacy of Black women and generational. Yes. Then that is from the Chicken Soup from the Soul. Yes. For those of you listening, she was just holding up the Chicken Soup from the Soul book in which she's featured in 2021. Her incredible story. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show, but it says Black women share their truth in the stories of love, courage, and hope. Yes. So yes. Next question. What is your favorite music venue to perform at here in Denver?
Oh. It's so easy to say Red Rocks because once you've done Red Rocks.
Amen.
Oh my goodness.
It's beautiful.
Wow. But you know what? There is nothing like a small venue to be able to reach out and touch somebody. So in that respect, I would have to say, because they've been behind us, actually 2 places that have been behind me forever. Dazzle. Yes. Hello, Donald. Love you.
Shout out Dazzle. Yes.
And Oscar Blues and Lions. They have several locations now. Mm-hmm. But absolutely, you know, because there's nothing like being able to do your thing and throw the sweat and watch other people do their thing and throw it too, you know, and then have somebody come up to you and go, you know what, I ain't been out in 6 months.
Yes.
And this was the best time I've had in years.
Yeah. Music is healing. It's actual healing to the people.
You can heal and change people with what you do. And that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's one I do not take lightly.
You listen, y'all, if y'all don't know, y'all need to check this woman out. Y'all need to go to her website. Y'all need to come and see her live. Just this energy right now. You already know how it is on stage. Next question. You're booking a flight to anywhere in the world. Where are you going and who are you going with?
Well, wow. I would love to go back to New Zealand.
Yes.
I was flown there because I met this woman, Lionel Young. Hey, Lionel. I did a gig with him one night for somebody's birthday party. And these 2 people, there were people from all over the world at this party because the guy whose party it was amazing. Right. Anyway, I met them. They loved me. A year later, they came back to me and said, the woman of the couple came back and said, my husband is an uber fan of yours. I want to fly you out here and have you be his surprise for his 60th birthday party.
What? That is the power of Miss Erica Brown, sis.
You know, you have to put yourself in a lot of people's hands to make things like that happen.
Yes.
And so I said, okay, let's do it. Right. So she was like, well, if you're coming out here, ain't no point in coming out here for less than 2 weeks. I got you.
Girl, come on.
And I'm here to tell you what.
Can we be about that life, sis?
She had me. So I would love to go back to her house because they live on a bluff overlooking a bay. And this bay is a private beach.
Say less. Okay.
Oh my God. They took me all along the North and South Island. And this is another thing that was supposed to be, because when I'm gonna say this fast, when I found out I was gonna go, I actually have a friend who lives down there who used to work with me at CU Denver.
Mm-hmm.
He messaged me and said, "You coming down here?" And he's a blues man.
He was like, "Wait a minute now."
We gigged all over the North and South Island in some amazing places.
Yes.
Leading up to this party.
Yes.
They own a 700-acre farm and just had buses to take everybody out to the site, and it was amazing.
Any of y'all listening
hello,
right
Susie
now,
and
y'all
Brian,
should...
I love you and I miss you.
Yes, anybody listening right now, y'all should see Carrie and Nick's face. Can we just carry your bag, sis? Can we just be on the tour bus? We ain't even got to perform.
I'll fan you all day. I'll wipe your sweat. Tell me what to do.
Right, ice shit. And ice them in your mouth for you. What
right? Just tell me what you need.
I'll pick out your fro. Like what we got to do?
Right. Nick can twist the fro down.
I can give you a twist out, a braid out.
But
okay.
For the Who, I would take my daughter.
What'd you say now?
For the Who, I would take my daughter.
Oh, absolutely.
Because every day, in every way, we gotta be
Blacknificent. Amen. Listen, you embody Black excellence. I just need you to know. Like I need you. We need you to have your flowers now.
It's about integrity.
Yes.
Everything you do it with integrity. Because if you do it with integrity and with faith and with respect for your fellow man, it will come back to you tenfold. I serve a God that says, "Don't ask me what you want. Tell me what you want." And as long as you do what I need for you to do, and all I need for you to do is live by the golden rule. That's all I need for you to do. I don't need for you to worship me. I don't need for you to do this. I don't need for you to do that. I need for you to take care of your fellow man. Long as you do that, tell me what you want, and then stand back and watch me give it to you.
Amen. Okay.
That's it.
Now for the piece de resistance question, because we need to know your answer on this. And every person who comes on the sip, we decide. No, I'm just kidding, but we decide where you fall based on your answer. You know.
Right.
So, is it sweet or savory grits?
That's.
Wait a minute, she had to fix the fro before she answered the question. I cannot.
I have to answer that question in two small parts.
Mm-hmm.
First part, I grew up poor. We were poor, y'all. We didn't know, well, we knew we were poor, technically speaking, but we put butter and sugar in our grits.
We won, Carrie. Sorry, but we won. No.
And sometimes it was lunch and dinner. It was what it was. Right. Now, when I discovered the beauty of a well-prepared plate of shrimp and grits, I lost my shit.
She said, I lost my shit.
It's the truth. So it's like, oh.
So you're like me, sis. You'll have both. Thank you very much. It does not have to be either or. It can be both. Okay,
right.
Absolutely. It all. Both of them. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
both of them.
On that note, Miss Erica Brown has spoken, y'all. I just thank you so much for being here. I thank you for just embodying the things that we all try to do, the self-love that we try to have in general. You embody it so incredibly. Like I could literally talk to you for another few hours. But I just thank you so much for being on this show and having this conversation with us. And I'm really grateful. I cannot wait to see all the amazing things that you do. Y'all, please definitely look at Sister Erica Brown Entertainment. Support this woman. When you see the GoFundMe out there, do the GoFundMe. And Carrie, I'm gonna let you take it away with the reminders of what people can do for the SIP. But thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, ladies. I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah,
you are our sister in power. We salute you. I have been blessed on this Sunday. Okay. So Thank you so much. And to our sippers, we appreciate y'all holding it down, staying with us, and y'all, being in the space to be blessed too. So continue to support us. Follow us on Instagram. Become a patron. I'm dropping all the links in the chat right now. But like Sis Erica Brown said today, we got to level up for each other and for ourselves. So let's do that. Much love. Until next time.
Much love, everybody.
Bye.